Oh, what a night. Perfect song to come into this. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Mental Health Colorado's 39th annual Tribute Gala. We are having an exciting program for you tonight, and we're so grateful that you're here. We hope that you will reflect thoughtfully and collectively on this last year, and we look forward with determination and optimism. My name is Reggie Rivers. I'm a former running back for the Denver Broncos. Those of you who have never heard of me, I was the greatest Denver Bronco in the history of the franchise. Unfortunately, that's not the common opinion in my own household. However, any of you who have actually seen my highlights, just keep your mouth shut. All right, I'm also the president of the Gala team, and I'm excited to be your host for this evening. This is my third year being part of Mental Health Colorado's mission of promoting mental health. Now, a quick note about registration. If you look on your phone and you have received a text message from the number 56651, it'll look kind of funny in there, then you're all set. You don't need to do anything else at the moment. If you have not registered and you do not have a text message from the number 56651, then getting signed up is super easy. All you have to do, text mental health CO, all one word, to the number 56651. Again, text mental health CO, all one word, to 56651. Registering for this event does two things. First, it lets us know that you're out there with us. In this virtual world, you can see us. We can't quite see you, so it's helpful to get a scope of just how big the audience is who is joining us this evening. Second, we're going to ask for your support later in the program, and in order to make a contribution, you will need to be registered. So please, if you are not already registered, just text mental health CO, all one word, to the number 56651. All right, if you need any tech support at any point tonight, you can call or text Tori at 720-485-0141. That number is posted on the live stream page. All right, we are kicking things off this evening with some very special stories. Now, please be aware that some of the content might be sensitive for some viewers. Our speakers will be highlighting their experiences with eating disorders, thoughts of suicide, and other mental health challenges. If you feel this subject matter may be too difficult for you to hear about, please turn off your volume for about 10 minutes. When you see me come back on the screen, that will be your cue that the really emotional stuff is over. You can turn your volume back on and rejoin us for content that is easier to hear. With that being said, it is my honor to welcome our three spotlight speakers.
From the very moment I entered this world, the universe knew there was something special about me. There was a reason I was put on this earth. I was meant to shine my brightest light. My name is Rhea, and this is my story. When I was 10, I started experiencing a constant excruciating pain in my head and my stomach. On each CT scan, PET scan, MRI, there was not a single diagnosis that could be made. I was given pills and remedies to try and alleviate the aches, but I had to accept that nothing could be done to fix my pain. I woke up every morning dreading the pain and honestly wanted nothing more to just disappear. At the beginning of middle school, I started facing new challenges. It got to a point where every day I started looking in the mirror, finding everything that was wrong with my physical appearance. I became convinced that I needed to lose weight, and that would be the solution to all my problems. I was later diagnosed with anorexia. The interesting thing about eating disorders is that they are often covering up another problem. When I was recovering from anorexia, I learned that there was so much more underneath what was going on: depression, anxiety, and bipolar, to be exact. Things got way worse before they got better. I was hospitalized for 6 days, and after I was discharged from the hospital, I devised a plan to start playing the system and myself. Essentially, fake it until you make it. In my day to day life, I was sneaking out all the time and partying a lot to distract from what I truly felt. It wasn't until my parents sent me to wilderness therapy that I began to heal and to know that I am a unique person. I am a fighter, an athlete, a Bollywood dancer, a quadrilingual, a second generation Indian. No one can define who I am except for me. I am unique. I am a unique and authentic woman who has strength and vulnerability. I am passionate, I am creative, and I am me. Did I want to perceive those 21 months spent in treatment as a waste of a normal high school experience, or did I want to see those 21 months as the months I spent finding the person who sits here sharing her story today? The second I started to see all that trauma and life experience I had gone through shaped me to be the person I am today is when I started to live life for myself. From the very moment that I entered this world, this universe knew that there was something special about me. There was a reason I was put on this earth. I was meant to shine my brightest light. Thank you to Mental Health Colorado for giving voice to mental health advocates like me and letting us shine our lights so we can all prioritize well-being from one end of life to another.
My name is Craig, and this is my story of hope. From childhood through my teen years and into my time in the military, I struggled with mental health and suicidal ideation. My mental health struggles do not define me, but the courage to get help and learning to find joy do. The first time I recall wanting to die, I was around 8, on a family vacation in the 1980s. The feeling of not being loved was overwhelming. I was hurting, and I didn't know why. These feelings intensified into my teen years. No matter what I accomplished, I never felt adequate in the eyes of my parents. This feeling of inadequacy made me seek out acceptance from anyone who would give it to me. After my parents' divorce, my mom's abusive boyfriend hurt me physically and emotionally. At school, I struggled with bullies and fitting in anywhere. I felt as if no place was safe. In 1996, I graduated high school and joined the military. It was in the Navy that my life would be forever changed, and I would carry shame with me into my adult life. Like everywhere I was before, I didn't fit in. During boot camp, I lost my billet for the nuclear power program due to recruiting mistakes. I was assigned to a submarine without a job. I felt like I was at the bottom of the barrel. Between the hazing and my inability to fit in, every day was reliving a nightmare where I never felt safe. I saw no way out. This ultimately led me to trying to take my own life. I was promptly discharged with a personality disorder. I came home filled with anger, sadness. I was living in a dark cloud somewhere. Somehow I managed to turn this dark cloud into success, completing a degree in electrical engineering. However, my trauma lived on. My feelings didn't go away. I buried them and invalidated them. Those around me didn't know because I was extremely good at faking that I was okay. Thanks to being a high school and college debater, I learned skills enabling me to come across as polished, confident. But things were not okay. I was dying inside. I even ghosted people I deeply cared for, out of fear of letting anyone get too close. I lived a secret darkness that I hid from my family, my friends, and my wife. In 2019, I said goodbye to my grandmother, my dog, a friend from high school, and my uncle. Additionally, we were going through a very stressful remodel at our house. This created the perfect storm. By August, I was crying all the time for no clear reason. One day at work, following a heated meeting, I locked myself in the restroom and I cried for a solid 20 minutes. As I sunk deeper into my depression, my system was shutting down. I pushed people away. I wasn't listening to the advice of my wife to get help. My system was tricking me into believing that nobody cared, that I was a burden and I shouldn't be here anymore. I had the distorted belief that the world could go on and it would be a better place if I was not part of it. A good friend I met through running recognized what was happening to me and convinced me to go see my doctor. I was hesitant and afraid I'd lose my job. I work on a military installation which requires reporting mental health issues and any medication. I found the courage to see my doctor and I started medication and therapy. I'd never done therapy before and had no idea what to expect. The next few months were the absolute hardest of my life, without even factoring in the global pandemic. I learned a lot about myself, my trauma, and I began to heal. At the beginning of therapy, I couldn't have envisioned where I would end up. I could not see a scenario where I was better. I often joke that the pandemic truly saved my life. It gave me the time to really focus on healing. I am now able to be a lot more open with my struggles. I am not fully cured, but I have found balance. I still go to therapy weekly. I am still working on healing. But I look forward to doing the little things. I'm starting to see the joy and love of life that I never thought was possible. It truly has been eye-opening. Being more open about this topic has created new friendships. It has given me support from people going through their own struggles. When you see the signs that say you are not alone, you truly are not. As a society, we are still not comfortable talking about it. Thank you to Mental Health Colorado for shifting our culture to end shame and discrimination. I hope that my story will inspire people to get help, confide in their loved ones, and find hope. We are on this journey together. What happens to us is not our fault, but it is our responsibility to heal.
Hi, my name is Mary. I never thought I'd be thrown headfirst into a world of mental illness, but it does not discriminate. It didn't discriminate when it took my best friend's life, my best friend of 35 years. It didn't discriminate when it inflicted my only child with severe dual diagnosis. And I came to know Mental Health Colorado while trying desperately to save my daughter's life. And we were in an ER where she didn't have a toothbrush, a shower. I had to remind them to feed her, and their answer was they didn't have any training for psych beds. And it was the most horrible experience I've ever been through. We are still battling every single day for her life. And Lauren Snyder with Mental Health Colorado has been monumental to me and staying beside me on the journey, helping me fight to look for beds, and allowing me to testify for Senate Bill 222, which made a gigantic difference so that other parents wouldn't have to go through what I went through, which was because of demographics of where we lived, there wasn't a bed that was allotted. That has changed. So thank you, Mental Health Colorado, so much. And thank you for taking me from a place of feeling so helpless to hopeful. And now I'm hopeful with the mental health housing that I've started for LGBTQ, a nonprofit called Heart Mind Connect. And I'm a music ambassador for mental health. And I thank you so much for this incredibly important job and fight that you do every day. Thank you.
Wow. You know, she said there, hopefulness is so healing. Thank you so much, Mary, Rhea, and Craig. We appreciate your courage and your strength. By sharing, you help end the discrimination that keeps too many of us silent about our mental health challenges. You also empower yourselves and you help heal those around you. Now, any of you who had to turn your volume down during that because it was too intense, we welcome you back to our program. And to our three presenters there, you never know who may have needed to hear your words and feel your courage tonight. We appreciate your generosity in sharing your story with us this evening. All right, now I want to announce the winner of the first door prize this evening. The winner is going to receive a 3-month subscription to the Book of the Month. We all know that reading is good for our well-being. So this winner of the 3-month subscription to Book of the Month is Anna Kim. Congratulations, Anna. Mental Health Colorado will be in touch with you about how you will receive this prize. All right, good news for everyone else. There's still a chance to win another prize tonight. At the end of the program, one lucky winner will receive 2 annual national park passes. You and someone you love, or maybe just someone you like, could have access to 423 park sites all around the United States for an entire year. A lot of us have been stuck inside this past year. These 2 passes will give you the motivation to start exploring again. Now, everyone who's registered for this event is eligible to win this prize. You can use it yourself. You can gift it to a friend or a family member. If you're already registered for this event, you're in good shape. You don't need to do anything else. If you have not yet registered, and if you are unfamiliar with just how beautiful our national parks are, take a look at this. Oh, that is breathtaking, and it's almost as relaxing to me as watching Teddy Bridgewater drop back in the pocket for the Denver Broncos. Oh, I feel so warm and safe with him at the helm. All right, so we need you to get registered so that we know who is here and so that you can participate in our fundraising. You'll also have a chance to win this wonderful prize. So if you have not yet registered, please text Mental Health CO, all one word, to the number 56651. Again, that's Mental Health CO, all one word, to 56651. All right, we'll announce the winner at the end of the program, and you must be present to win. So if we draw a name and that person is not present, we will keep pulling until we get a winner. Now listen, our national parks aren't the only beautiful things being highlighted in tonight's program. Vincent Atchity is also beautiful. He is the handsome, the intelligent, the amazing, the incomparable president and CEO of Mental Health Colorado. Please welcome my good friend, Vincent Atchity. How are you, my friend?
I'm all right. How are you? Thank you so much, Reggie.
Good, good. You know, Mike, you want to go ahead and turn that camera for Vincent so he can give his remarks? Well, I just want to say, while that's happening, your hair is looking fantastic, as always.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Reggie. Welcome, everyone. And thank you for joining us for our 39th annual Tribute Gala. Most of us can agree that this past year was difficult in many ways. Last year, in March of 2020, I think we thought the pandemic was going to be over quickly. And then a month went by, then several months, and now over a year has passed, and we continue to live with all kinds of uncertainty and discomfort. Last year, people all over the world were forced into isolation, and anxiety was at an all-time high due to the economic and health impacts of COVID-19. Here in the U.S., we experienced civil unrest and heightened awareness of persistent racism in every aspect of our culture. We've had to endure challenges to the integrity of our democratic process. We're worried about massive changes which may affect the future of our lives on the planet. All of this uncertainty, fear, and anxiety has been and continues to be very harmful to our well-being. And it's not just adults who've been experiencing these challenges. Teenagers and children have felt their worlds go all topsy-turvy in ways that have been profoundly disruptive of their familiar developmental pathways. We've all been affected by this pandemic year of loss and conflict in some shape or form. The word that we're now all overly familiar with is unprecedented. This past year was unprecedented. Despite all of this, good things keep happening. For one, more people than ever have begun to recognize that mental health and physical health are not two distinct things, but one thing, the integrated continuum of our being. It is for this reason that I like to say that we are experiencing a unique and potentially pivotal moment for health. We, as mental health supporters and advocates, must take advantage of this opportunity and keep the health of our minds and spirits at the forefront of the conversation, to normalize our health of mind with our friends and neighbors, to remind our leaders that mental health matters. Let's take advantage of this moment and make dramatic change happen in the mental health and substance use space. Because no matter our age, financial health, or life situation, our health of mind can be what makes or breaks our days. We must acknowledge that when something is causing us pain or discomfort in mind or body, we must honor ourselves in finding ways to feel better. With your help tonight, the pandemic and stressful times won't keep Mental Health Colorado and our much appreciated community of partners from working toward a strong start for all of Colorado's children, disentangling mental health and criminal justice, and ensuring all Coloradans can access quality, affordable mental health and substance use care. This is a tribute gala, and we have much to cover, but I'd be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to highlight a few thrilling accomplishments from this past year, in addition to some exciting new things coming up for us. As we move into a post-vaccine world, we continue to see a secondary pandemic of mental health and substance use concerns. Mental Health Colorado knew that we must prepare to deal with the increased demand for care and support. These needs were reflected in our 2021 policy priorities. it's very satisfying to report that we were able to have a successful legislative session. Our 4 priority bills, all of which passed, include one that it will expand peer recovery support services to ensure that peer specialists are more widely available. Another will create a funding stream to enact a memorable 3-digit crisis number, 988, to provide an immediate health response to health needs, care, not cuffs. A third will provide a less costly and more effective transportation service for people experiencing a mental health crisis so that crises aren't exacerbated. And the 4th bill will effectively end solitary confinement in Colorado jails, which has been shown to have detrimental impacts on individuals with mental health conditions. We're confident that these bills will be valuable in the pursuit of creating healthier minds across the lifespan for all Coloradans. As for another exciting update, I mentioned earlier that this is a unique moment for mental health, and we're taking advantage of this opportunity. We're about to launch our very first awareness campaign to help Coloradans share the unique tips and tricks they depend upon to support their well-being. I also want to highlight the launch of another important campaign. You may not know this, but jails and prisons function as the largest mental health facilities in the U.S. due to our nation's grave failures to support mental well-being across the lifespan. The acquisition of the Equitas project last year, thanks to the generosity of the David and Laura Mirage Foundation, has allowed the work already done by Equitas to continue. Now, with Equitas as our national initiative, Mental Health Colorado will lead the national movement to disentangle mental health and criminal justice. The Care Not Cuffs campaign will expand awareness nationwide that health care is not always what we get when we call for help in a health crisis. We'll highlight the problems persisting in our criminal justice systems. We'll elevate the leaders and communities who offer a health care response for health needs, rather than relying on the use of force, arrests, and criminalization. We know that the way we use jails and prisons to warehouse people with unmet health needs is harmful and disgraceful. The goal of this campaign is to accelerate national efforts to decriminalize mental health and substance use. Those are all my updates for tonight. Before proceeding to the rest of the program, I want to thank our Brainwave network of grassroots advocates, our community partners, our board of directors, and our advisory board. I want to thank our donors and sponsors, all of you who support our work and who are here with us tonight. I'd like to give a special shout out to the Recovery Foundation, Rocky Mountain Health Plans, Citywide Banks, G.E. Johnson, and Health One for their generous sponsorship support. We are so fortunate to have such a highly engaged group of folks who have dedicated so much of their time to support mental health in Colorado. We can't create healthier minds across the lifespan without their support and yours. Now, we'll hear a few words from Michael Wamsgans from Citywide Banks and Patrick Gordon and Meg Taylor from Rocky Mountain Health Plans.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Wamsgans, President and CEO of Citywide Banks. On behalf of the entire team at Citywide Banks, we are proud to be a part of this event and continue to bring awareness to the importance of mental health in Colorado. Citywide Banks has a long history of advocating the cause of mental health, wellness in our Colorado community. Our bank's passion goes back to the late 1960s. We have deep roots in supporting economic development, cancer prevention, mentoring and education, and advocating the cause of mental health wellness. This past year really brought mental health to the forefront within our communities, and at Citywide Banks, we're here to support. We deeply value the dedication and work of our mental health partners, especially as our shared crisis has elevated the need for mental health support within this last year. We are looking forward to the future and believe that together we can make an impact. I want to personally thank you for allowing Citywide Banks to be part of this event, and we remain committed to supporting mental health in Colorado. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Patrick Gordon, and this is Meg Taylor. We're with Rocky Mountain Health Plans. We're going to use the time that we have to talk about 3 topics that are important to our organization: bullying, addiction, and health equity. Bullying is destructive. The effects of bullying can be severe and long-ranging, including anxiety, depression, and even thoughts of suicide. Bullying harms children and adults alike, and bullies come in all shapes and sizes. In the school setting, in the workplace, in pretty much any social setting, real or virtual. Bullying is not okay. It is not normal. It should not be celebrated or rewarded.
We stand up to bullies, especially in the workplace. It has no place in behavioral health care.
When it comes to addiction, we need to end judgment and moralizing in our programs and policies once and for all. Addiction affects pretty much everyone, and people are more than their addiction.
Fight stigma.
Behavioral health should be accessible to everybody. You should not have to have a lot of money to get the care that you need when you need it. Equity means that every person should be able to choose their provider in the languages that they speak at a time when they need it. One who can empathize with their lived experience.
All people deserve access to quality behavioral health services when they need it, where they want it.
Thank you, Mental Health Colorado, for collaborating in the mission that we share.
Thank you, Citywide Banks and Rocky Mountain Health Plans, for the work you're doing in our business communities to support mental health. We'd like to feature another local business that is working hard to encourage employee wellness, Absolute Caulking and Waterproofing. Here's Nick Williams, their Director of Operations, to say a few words about their efforts.
Hello, I'm Nick Williams, Director of Operations for Absolute Caulking and Waterproofing, and the current President of the American Subcontractors Association of Colorado. And thank you so much for including us in your tribute gala. What a great opportunity for us all to catalog the collective successes we have made together, and to promote a great vision of how things can improve and grow into the future. At Absolute, we have dedicated ourselves to a renewed focus on mental health and wellness over these past few years, and specifically dialed in a hyper-focus during these past 18 months. The difficulties and strains on our physical and mental health during this time galvanized our efforts to improve our systems and processes to fully support our employees. In partnership with our extended health insurance and HR teams, we have been encouraged and empowered by the stories and successes of our team members, and of many others in our industry and beyond. Our people have embraced this new culture by utilizing the many resources provided by our extended mental health and wellness network. They have taken on ownership by spending time in new programs, such as the Burgeoning Culture of Care Committee, and reaching out to help others in need through our culture of community outreach. We have grown by learning and listening to our people, hearing their stories, and by sharing our own, with honesty, vulnerability, and passion. We look forward to watching this stigma that surrounds mental health, suicide, and substance issues continue to dissolve, opening up a new and open discourse between industries aimed at the horizon, positioned to treat this national epidemic. We can't do it alone, and we know that we will utilize the vast array of resources at our fingertips through organizations and partners like Mental Health Colorado to accomplish this shared goal. So much has changed, and for the better, but there's still so much left to do. So, here's to the future, a brighter one, together.
You know, we all feel better when we don't feel all alone. Michael Wamsgams, your bald head made me feel right at home. I'm standing next to this follicle show-off over here, Vincent Atchity, and it was just warmed my heart to see your bald head. Keep it up, my friend. My bald brother, forever. All right, well, hey, we want to say thank you to Absolute Caulking for your commitment to the well-being of your employees. Now, as I said earlier, this is my third year being part of Mental Health Colorado's Tribute Gala, and while their work has always been important, it was especially important this last year. COVID-19 has brought mental health to the forefront in many conversations in a way that is new and encouraging. Mental Health Colorado works to create healthier minds across the lifespan. And over the last 18 months, that's exactly what they did, starting at the Capitol building where mental health policy gets set.
Mental Health Colorado was founded in 1953. We have a mission, which is to promote well-being, increase access to care, and end discrimination.
We follow all of the legislation that comes in terms of what we will support and what we will oppose. And then also we write our own bills and we get policy change that way. Prior to 2020, we were very active at the state capitol. You can grab legislators in the hallway, sit and visit with them and talk about a bill. It's also how we recruit a lot of our legislators to carry bills for us.
Mental Health Colorado has been a vital partner in making sure that we're crafting policies that actually address these systemic issues.
I really rely on advocates to bring some of these issues to the forefront. They really appreciate, I think, having a diversity of opinions at the table.
Mental Health Colorado has been my partner since day one. Nobody has their finger on the pulse of what the community needs in the mental health space more than Mental Health Colorado.
We had 8 bills in 2020 that we were bringing forward on all kinds of different issues, and then the pandemic hit. And that changed everything.
This past year has been one of the most challenging years that we have faced in our living memory, taking a tremendous toll on our anxiety levels and our stress levels.
We have to acknowledge how much the pandemic affected all of us. We have seen in the screenings on our website a huge spike. In terms of anxiety, the increase is over 500%. And in terms of depression, it's over 600%.
People were stressed, and we needed to figure out, as Mental Health Colorado, how do we support them in our work? But the budget went into a free fall.
The legislature went into recess. Any bill that had money on it, if it had a dime on it, it wasn't moving forward. So all of our bills got stalled, and we lost quite a few.
It was hard as individuals, and everyone felt it. And for the first time, mental health really started to be part of the conversation much more than it had before.
I think people are starting to realize that it is okay to not be okay.
There's definitely more of an awareness around the importance of access to mental health care and making sure that that is seen evenly with physical health.
All of this new receptiveness to the urgency of mental health work has created this unprecedented opportunity to make change happen. But we need to get this right.
We need to change the way we're thinking about this. I think we're making progress, and Mental Health Colorado is always there at the table.
It's like all of a sudden everybody woke up and said, hey, we have a crisis. And I will ride that wave, creating transformational change. And Mental Health Colorado makes that happen.
All of the areas that we're working on really cannot continue to move forward without the donations of all of our supporters to be able to help us work with the county commissioners, to help us to work with early childhood, to be able to work with the hospitals to create the kinds of programmings and access to care that we need.
The only way that we can be the voice of consumers, of family members, of youth who experience mental health and substance use conditions is by the donations that are given to us to sustain our organization. We are a force to be reckoned with, and we will change the system, but there's a lot of work to be done.
You know, for most of us, mental health is this big topic. We have no idea where to even begin. But for Mental Health Colorado, they've got a game plan. They know how to attack this. They just need your help. And I thoroughly enjoyed hearing how Mental Health Colorado is making an impact. And it sounds like there's always a need for this effort, and MHC has always got its shoulder to the grindstone. Now, that's the reason we're here tonight. Mental Health Colorado needs your support. Now, we've reached the time in our program during which we can all get involved. Alone, any one of us can only do so much, but together as a team, we will make a big difference for Mental Health Colorado. It's time for the appeal portion of our program. We're going to ask for donations at different levels. We're going to start high and work our way down, and we hope that each of you will donate at least once tonight when you hear a level that matches your means and matches your commitment to Mental Health Colorado and its important mission. If you've already registered, you've received a text message from the number 56651, so just click that link, confirm your name, look for the green donate button or the give live button. If you need help, you can text or call Tori at 720-485-0141. That number is posted on the streaming page. If you have not yet registered, please do that now. Super easy. All you do is text the words Mental Health CO, all one word, to 56651. Again, text Mental Health CO, all one word, to 56651. All right, so we're going to start asking for support, and I'm going to ask Vincent to join me here to help us understand what these gifts would mean. And so at the $10,000 level, help Mental Health Colorado convince leaders that mental health matters. What does that mean?
Well, you know, amidst all the challenge of this past year, as I mentioned before, we're experiencing a unique moment for health. People have begun to realize that mental health and physical health are not two distinct things. Our health is a continuum. Mental Health Colorado is ready to use this opportunity to remind our leaders and elected officials that mental health matters for everyone and to make dramatic change happen in the mental health and substance use space. We need your full support in this endeavor.
That is true, and we've got some support coming in. On my iPad here, I can see that we have an anonymous gift of $10,000. Thank you so much for your generosity and leading out as the leader of our fundraising tonight. So please, anyone else who'd like to make a gift, do it on your phone. You received a link from the number 56651. Just click that link. It'll take you to the page. Follow the instructions. It's very intuitive to make a contribution. Let's step down another level now to $5,000, and $5,000 meet kids' health needs to help them reach their potential.
Yeah, you know, the best way to support healthier minds across the lifespan for all Coloradans is to invest in a strong start for all children. This year, we worked to dedicate funding to provide screenings and 3 mental health sessions to support Colorado's youth in pandemic recovery. No one matters more than our kids.
That is exactly right. And thank you to Don and Patty Cook for their gift of $5,000, and they are on the MHC Advisory Board. Thank you also to John Watts at $5,000. We appreciate your generous contribution. Please keep those gifts coming in. Whatever amount you can afford to give, we appreciate, but we're asking that each of you who is watching tonight to make a commitment to help Mental Health Colorado continue the work that it is doing. We're going to step down another level now to $2,500 to improve access to housing and health care. How does that play into mental health?
Well, when you don't know where you're going to sleep at night, it takes an immediate toll on your mental health. Making sure that affordable, supportive housing is available in every community is essential to achieving our population health goals. And finding good health care is one of the toughest challenges Coloradans face. Until we can rely on timely access to quality care, we will always be in crisis mode. Colorado's suicide rate is one of the highest in the nation, especially for youth. That's why we championed a bill to enact 988 as the crisis response number, so Coloradans will have a fast and easily accessible support system for individuals in need of immediate mental health and substance use care. In the past 2 years, the number of Coloradans who didn't receive mental health or substance use care that they needed nearly doubled. Peer support professionals are individuals in recovery from mental health or substance use conditions who help others experiencing similar situations. We champion legislation that expands the reach of peer services, making all that care more accessible.
That is wonderful. I want to say thank you to Vanita Curry, who made a gift of $3,000. Thank you so much, Vanita. We appreciate you. Please keep those gifts coming in. We're going to step down another level now to $1,000. And before we do that, let's take a look at our fundraising total and just see where we are so far. Together as a team, we can really make a difference for Mental Health Colorado. Individually, we can't do it alone. It has to be a team effort, all of us working together to do this. And look at that, we're on the cusp of $25,000 raised so far, and we're just getting started. So please keep those gifts coming in. Let's step down another level, Vincent, to 1,000. And you used this phrase earlier, provide care, not cuffs, health care for health crises. What does that mean?
Well, a mental health crisis deserves the same health care response that you would get for a physical emergency, like a stroke or heart attack. We're working to demand a better response for our families and communities. When we call for help, we should get help, not harm. Care, not cuffs.
Yeah, I agree. $1,000 here. Thank you so much to Margaret Roth. Thank you so much. And I think Margaret is on the advisory board. Robin Loop, we appreciate your gift of $1,000. Thank you. John Cook, also a board member. Thank you for your gift of $1,000. Please keep those gifts coming in. With your support, Mental Health Colorado can continue its advocacy work, can continue to support people who are having mental health challenges. And let's step down another level now, Vincent, $500 gifts. And so we're getting into the territory where more and more of us can participate. You know, you might not have had $10,000 or $5,000, but we have 3 levels left, $500, $250, and $100. And we hope that everyone who's watching will make a gift. If you have not already made a gift, we're asking you to make a gift at one of those levels. $500 will prioritize mental health on every ballot. What does that mean?
Well, it means that we are in the business of educating all Colorado voters to choose leaders who will guide them in the right direction when it comes to mental health. We consult with candidates running for office to make sure they're committed to supporting the mental health of the population they seek to represent.
That's wonderful. And so I guess I would imagine a lot of it is an education campaign that our leaders often aren't, they might not know how important this is.
Well, that's right, or they think that voting for one bill is enough to transform a landscape, where it really takes a whole platform of bills that they need to support to change our world for us.
That's wonderful. All right, well, listen here, at $500, we have a lot of people who have stepped up. We appreciate you. Amy Mitchell, thank you. Carrie Oddberg, we appreciate that. John Sheldon, Mary Hewinkle, Dee Perry, Diana England, Jeannie Roner, I apologize if I mispronounce anyone's names. Heidi McPeters, Michael Cooper, Martin Waters, Ben Miller, Elizabeth and Joseph Reeves. We have an anonymous gift in there. Craig Roush and Ken Atchity. Hey, somebody's related to you.
That's my dad.
Hey.
Yes.
All right, Dad, thank you. We appreciate that. That's wonderful. Let's take another quick peek at our fundraising total so far and see where we are. Look at that. We're on the cusp of $30,000 raised. We can do this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep those gifts coming in. We have 2 levels left, $250 and $100. If you have not yet made a gift, we're asking you, please make a gift at one of these levels. If you've already contributed tonight, we say thank you for your generous support. Let's step down, Vincent, to $250. To ensure wellness and aging, support for caregivers to prevent loneliness.
Isolation and loneliness are main causes of depression and anxiety for our aging population. Now, more than ever, caregivers are overburdened and overwhelmed, and quality support is hard to find. We're working to ensure that all Coloradans can experience wellness and aging. None of us should have to head toward the end of life in a heightened state of anxiety about the stability of our housing, health care, or our community.
Yeah, that is so true. My parents are now in an assisted living facility in Dayton. They've been there since fall of 2019. And when COVID hit, it's unbelievable how much stress it has taken off all of us kids and them to know that they're in a safe place, that they're not wondering about what's happening. And if they had still been in their house in Warner Robins, Georgia, I'm not sure they would have survived the pandemic with all the challenges that they were having. So we appreciate all these gifts. I want to jump back up at the $1,000 level. Amy Mitchell, thank you so much for your gift of $1,000. And then down here at $250, we have Jason Sendler, Ken and Kayoko Atchity. Other members of your family?
My dad and stepmother, yes.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Martha Carnup, Nancy Jackson, Carrie Warren Gully, William Sexton, Shannon Van Diemen, Craig Roush. Seems like I've heard that Roush name before. He's a 2-time giver in this thing. Thank you so much, Craig. Sandy Gutierrez, Ray Merenstein, Rick Shepis, and I apologize, Rick, I know that I'm getting that wrong. Michelle Barnes, I think I know you, Michelle, thank you. Douglas Muir, an anonymous gift. Amy Dolan, Denise Juliana, thank you all so much for your gifts at the $250 level. Let's take another peek at our fundraising total, see where we are so far this evening. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen, $33,170 raised so far. Please keep those gifts coming in. We have one level left. We have $100. Can we get over 35,000? I mean, we're $1,500 away from 35,000. And at the $100 level, the goal here is two simple words that mean so much: end discrimination.
Yeah, just as we all have physical health needs over the course of our lives, we all experience mental health needs. None of us is immune to mental health or substance use concerns, and we should never have to feel ashamed of the state of our mental health. Your donation will help us end discrimination by allowing us to share and promote stories of Coloradans who have lived experiences with mental health or substance use. Our story bank allows Coloradans to celebrate stories of survival and recovery while ending discrimination associated with mental health. Your donations help end discrimination through our grassroots work. The volunteer advocates who form our brainwave help illustrate the barriers to care that Coloradans face by sharing lived experience with lawmakers, the media, and community partners. The voices of our brainwave members shape public policy and public opinion.
What a difference it would be if somebody who's having a mental health emergency was treated exactly like somebody having a physical health emergency. I mean, what a transformation in the experience, transformation of the response, transformation of the outcome, transformation of our whole community. It would be amazing. And we can do that with your support. And at $100, we have a lot of people here. Cynthia Werme, Michael Jolton, Doug Walter, Janet Seeley, Gina Shimial, Robert Leffler, Amy and Derek Dolan, Melissa Patron Zavaris, Raul de Villegas Decker, Margaret Elmer, David McLaughlin, Kim Fitzgerald, a couple of anonymous gifts, Martin Waters, and Amy Noyes. Thank you all so much. We appreciate those gifts. Please keep them coming in. Let's take a look at where we are now in our fundraising total. Look at that, $38,570. A few minutes ago, we were hoping that we would get past $35,000. Now we're hoping that we get past $40,000. We're gonna stop this officially right now, but you can keep on giving. We've got some other content that we're gonna move on to in this program, but please continue to give. We will check back in on this number in just a little bit. Vincent, what do you think about all that?
Well, I'm so grateful for everybody's support. We really depend on you to be able to keep doing what we're doing. Thank you so much.
That's fantastic. All right, so we are going to move on with the program, but don't fret, we're not done with our fundraising. You can continue to donate. Thank you to all of you for supporting Mental Health Colorado tonight. You are truly champions for mental health. Each of you just being here shows your dedication, which leads me to someone I'm very excited to introduce, another person dedicated to mental health with his own story to tell. Adam Clayton Holland is an accomplished comedian, writer, and author of Tragedy Plus Time. If you haven't read this book, it presents Adam's experience in dealing with the death of his sister due to suicide. I had a chance to talk to him about comedy, mental health, and his book. Here's a look at our conversation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined now by Adam Clayton Holland, a comedian. And Adam, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. It's nice to meet you even over the computer, man. I'm a fan and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. We're glad to have you. So let's jump straight into it. You know, so many people know that writing is therapeutic, and I know that you are a writer and an author in your book, Tragedy Plus Time. You talk about your mental health challenges. Can you tell us more about your book?
Sure. Well, the book was about losing my little sister to her mental health challenges. And it was, it sounds sort of cliche, but it was like the most cathartic thing. I do comedy, and this tragedy happened to my family, and nothing was funny anymore. And I didn't feel like being funny or being on stage, but I still just had all these thoughts on it constantly, because how could you not? And so sitting down and writing this book was very much a opportunity to organize my thoughts and to feel all the emotions that I felt. I think there's kind of a misconception that you get to this point, you're like, all right, now I'm ready to write about it. I've had all my thoughts. For me, it was the exact opposite. I really flushed out a lot of things in the process of writing. So I did a lot of mourning and healing and making pretty profound realizations while writing the book. So the experience of it was just everything for me. Putting it out was almost like a second, benefit. It was just the writing was a lot.
Yeah, yeah, you hear that a lot from people. They sit down as soon as they put the pen in their hand or start typing, the emotions just start pouring out onto the page, and it is very cathartic. But you are a comedian, and so you write jokes and you think about funny things. How did you get back to that state of mind where things were funny to you again?
I mean, that took a while, to tell you the truth. I continued to hang around comedy. I don't want to bore people with my bio, but right around this time that this happened with my sister, my friends and I had a TV show picked up. And so it really kind of helped that I could hide behind that. It wasn't stand-up comedy. It was sort of us playing characters and being dumb, bad teachers. And it wasn't just the Adam Caton Holland show. It was me with two other friends. So in a way, I was able to sort of lose myself in a group project that wasn't the very immediate stand-up of like, here's what I, the individual, think. It was more, here's what we have to present as a sitcom. So it was fun to take a step back from stand-up, work on that in the humor realm, but not in the very personal humor realm,
Gotcha.
The timing of that was oddly fortuitous.
Sure. You did get very personal in terms of talking about your sister and kind of sharing your feelings about it. And did you also tell stories about her on stage?
Well, it's funny because I currently am sort of doing a one-man show about my little sister, which is a bit different than traditional stand-up per se. It's more theatrical, and you have more of a license to delve into deeper, harder stuff, because it's not some audience who doesn't know who you are being like, give us a joke now or we're gonna boo. It's a lot more of a longer leash. But at the time that this happened, I was proud of my stand-up, but I didn't feel like talking about it on stage in those types of settings that I'm telling you about. I was not the headliner most of the time. It would have been wrong for me to be like, I've got 10 minutes of comedy work, so I'm going to shoehorn this tragedy into it. And I honestly didn't feel like I had the skill set at the time to do it well. And I really admire my little sister. I love my little sister. She was so funny. She loved stand-up. And it felt like it would do her a disservice to do it poorly. And I'm self-aware enough to know you're not ready, you're not healed enough. Also, you're not there yet in your career, and maybe give it some time. I knew it would always be there. It's in my brain. It's not going to go anywhere.
Right. What can you say about the intersection of comedy and mental well-being? How important is comedy to that?
It's interesting. I think a lot of people think of comics as these dark, tortured artists and taking their demons to the stage and dealing with it. But I kind of disagree. I think comics are very sensitive, like most artists are, and sort of in tune with their feelings. But I've seen comics go through terrible things and get on stage that night and just be a raw nerve and have to deal with it right then. And I've always thought, like, don't use stand-up as your therapy. Like, use therapy as your therapy, and then take what you've learned to your chosen art form. So I think that's kind of a misconception widely, that these tortured geniuses are just letting it all out on the stage. I think the ones that do it really great have thought about it, have processed it some before they take it there,
Right. What about for the audience? How much do you think the audience needs comedy?
Oh man, I think it's really cathartic. I mean, even now, post COVID and coming out of it, or I was doing a bunch of outdoor shows during this, and just the gathering of people is important. but I think comics sort of give people a license to feel things and feel okay about those things. We're the sacrificial lamb, like, hey, I felt this way. And they're like, yes, me too. Thank you for saying that. It's just commiseration. It's just like storytelling, or if a song hits you in the right way, or this author wrote this thing that hits you in the right way. I think comedy provides that as well. It can really soothe you because you might be going through the same thing.
I think sports a lot is the same way that, I'll watch a Broncos game by myself and I love cheering for the team, but there's something different about everyone cheering at the same time or everyone groaning at the same time. And, in a comedy show, everyone laughing at the same time. There's something about the community of the experience that is really affirming and helpful.
Absolutely. And it was so bizarre over, the strict lockdown measures to have these what are traditionally communal experiences sort of isolated, even with the bubbles and 6 feet apart. It's not this coherent group. Like, I'll give you an example. I went to Nathaniel Rateliff and the Night Sweats during COVID at Red Rocks, and they let in 150 people. And I'm friends with the drummer and Nathaniel, so I got a ticket. But it was so strange to be at Red Rocks with 150 people. And it was cool because I love this show and I had a whole row to myself, but it was also really sad because this was the space where you're used to 10,000 people all sharing in one experience. And it just heightened everything that was going on,
What did you do to take care of your mental health during the pandemic?
I mean, just like everybody, I think I tried everything from like, all right, well, we're going to have ice cream sundaes for a week straight. Let's just, to like, I guess we want to watch every AFI Top 100 movie, just sort of weird things. But truthfully, for me, and you can probably relate, just athletics, working out helps me a lot. And I think it helps me clear my headspace. If I'm jogging or if I'm playing soccer with friends, I don't think about it. It's that Zen state we all try to achieve of unthinking. And I really find I have that when I'm working out or playing sports. I'm not thinking about anything except like that moment. And I'm sure you can relate, Reggie. And that's just a beautiful thing. So anytime you can clear your head and it's just you in the present time is good for your mental health. And so I try to do that through athletics this whole time.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I know during my NFL days, there's light workouts. Even if you go for a walk, it kind of clears your head. Your brain just kind of goes all different places. But then there's intense workout that like locks your brain in on, my heart feels like it's about to explode, or, can I go 10 more seconds, or can I catch that ball? And you're so focused on this one thing that it just keeps you in the moment. And either one of those, I think, really is cathartic in terms of just not dwelling on the things that have been agonizing you.
Absolutely. I've started playing, washed up indoor soccer. I'm 41 and I play out at the Bladium, and it's my favorite hour of the week because I don't think about a thing except that game. And that's a pure state of being.
And that's the name of the league, the Washed Up League?
Yeah, the Washed Up fake ankle league, screws in our feet. Pretty much whatever title you want that to be.
Yeah, I'm 53. I'm part of the Over the Second Hill league.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'll get there.
Yeah, exactly. Keep on coming. So let's talk about parents. Parents with their kids over the past year and a half. The kids being at home. You're a parent, and just how you deal with not just your mental health, but also the mental health of your kids.
Yeah, I mean, I now have a 3-month-old and an almost 3-year-old. So the almost 3-year-old, a big chunk of his life has been in COVID.
Right.
Down to, I wonder how normal masks are going to seem to him, throughout his life. And that was definitely a challenge because I think he's a shy guy anyway, but I wonder if he's a little more shy because for the first half of his life, we were keeping him away from other people for the most part. And that's very scary to think about developmentally what that does to kids. But now he's in a little preschool, and it seems like he's doing just fine. Kids are resilient. But yeah, I feel really sorry for the people who had kids who are like my sister, my niece and nephews. Their kids, they're 8, 9, 10, 11. So friends are everything for them. And I was able to just explain to my kid, nope, we're staying inside, and mostly he's happy with mom and dad. But it's been hard for everybody. I'm glad we seem to be coming out slowly when he's getting to an age where he really now demands to go play with the neighbor kids, and we're like, okay, well, off you go. Hopefully the worst of it all timed when he was happiest, kind of in the womb, so to speak. But yeah, any parent, I don't have it hard compared to the parents that were teaching their kids and doing all this stuff. So yeah, hopefully the worst is over for our COVID parenting.
That's great. Well, as we wrap things up here, any final words of inspiration for our audience today?
I just want to tell people, having watched my sister go through her mental health struggles and gone through a lot myself, I think when you're deep in them, they feel really permanent. But mental health, and wiser people than me have said this, it's like a spectrum, and you're never 100% healthy or unhealthy. You're like somewhere in between, and it can change, and it's malleable. So when things seem permanent, I just urge you to remember they're not, and it'll change for you.
That is very good advice. Adam Caton Holland, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I really enjoyed that conversation, and I really, that idea that it's not permanent, you're on a spectrum, and so whatever it is you're going through is a lot of times some version of normal for a lot of people. You're not so abnormal, you're not so out of the norm that it's not treatable, or that there aren't other people who are dealing with the same thing that you're dealing with. Okay, so as we wrap up our program tonight, if you wanted to donate but haven't done so yet, you still have a chance. It's not too late. Click the donate link that you received. It's in your text messages from the number 56651. Okay, so I want to say thank you so much for everyone's support tonight. There is no health without mental health, and it's because of community's leaders and supporters like you that Mental Health Colorado continues to thrive and make a difference. And so it's time now to announce the winner of the 2 annual National Park Passes. Florida, can I please get the paper? Oh, look at this. She didn't want to appear on the eye, but look, I'm going to pause. That is Flora's hand. Wave, Flora, say hi to everybody. That's all she wanted to do. That's on air, just her hand. Okay, so the winner of the 2 National Park Passes is Kristen Hall. Kristen Hall, congratulations. You now have 30 seconds to put your name, or say in the chat box that you are here. Announce yourself to us and to the world. If we don't see your name come through in 30 seconds, we will draw another name, and we'll continue until we get a winner. So right now, everyone is rooting against Kristen. She hasn't said anything yet. Everybody else is thinking, hey, if Kristen doesn't respond, we're going to draw another name. Kristen, you did it. Oh, so happy for you, Kristen. And just by the fact that you could respond, type the word here in the chat within 30 seconds proves you are not an Oakland Raiders fan. I don't mean to insult the Raiders, but oh, truth. All right. Okay, so let's move on. We want to thank you, everybody, for supporting Mental Health Colorado. Let's take one final look at our fundraising total for tonight. Look at that, everybody. $41,320. That is fantastic. Vincent, I've got to ask you, what do you think about that?
Well, we're just very grateful for everybody's support. It's fantastic to know that we've got the community behind us and supporting our mission to promote healthier minds across the lifespan. Thank you all.
That is fantastic. Thank you all for your generosity. Thank you for the great work that you and your team are doing. You're really making a big difference for our whole community. Okay, so you can continue to make donations. This link will be open until September 30th, so you can continue to make donations for another week. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your support. We appreciate all of you. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right. Thank you.